Hi, welcome to Sportsy, Let's Talk Sports. Today we have somebody with us who was a player, but he says that I could not wear the tricolors or the India jersey as a player, and that was a regret. But now I get to wear that as a manager of India's Davis Cup team. He is one of the most senior administrator in Indian tennis. Today we have with us the founder secretary of Lakshya Sport, which is one of the most prominent foundation towards helping athletes achieve their dreams. We have executive committee member of Maharashtra Olympic Association. We have honorary secretary of Maharashtra State Lawn Tennis Association and a manager of India's Davis Cup team, Mr. Sunder Iyer. Hi guys, thank you for watching, thank you for sharing, and thank you for liking. Please do subscribe on the channel to spread the word about Sportsy. Let's talk sports. Please subscribe. Thank you, sir, for joining this call, and it's really good for our viewers to see you on this platform. The platform is called Sportsy, where we talk about sport. We go with the hashtag Let's Talk Sport. For our viewers, we have Mr. Sunder Iyer with us, who has been the founder secretary for Lakshya Sport. He is honorary secretary for Maharashtra State Lawn Tennis Association. He's an executive member of All India Tennis Association, and recently took managing Indian Davis Cup team, and we had a good success just before. So welcome, sir, on the Sportsy.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
So I'll come to the question where mainly it's about the tennis in India. From starting as an administrator for MSLTA to becoming a manager of the India's Davis Cup team, you've seen Indian tennis develop over years. So what do you think, how it has changed, and what's the road ahead?
See, actually, historically, Indian tennis has been played for over nearly about 100 years, and the British brought in tennis in India, and it was in all the big cities and the cantonment areas where the British used to rule. And at that time, there were courts all over India, and the affluent rich people who traveled to England to study and things like that took on to the game.
Right.
And there were a lot of ladies also playing at that time, around 1930, 40s. So tennis has been quite popular in India, and actually it's like a gentleman's game, individual sport. So a lot of people took it up. In the 1970s, a lot of kids in India started playing at that time. 1970s to 80s, we had a lot of clubs that started tennis, and it started reaching the masses. First it was the classes, then the masses. So actually 1980 onwards, tennis has taken its roots in India, you can say, though it was played for a long time. But the entire, I think, the tennis revolution or thing started, after we had Premjit Lal and Jaideep Mukherjee and people like the great stalwarts at that time.
Yeah.
But you can say globally, we got more recognition after Ramnath and Krishnan.
Right.
San Ramesh, and then Vijay, Anand. So these are the guys who actually took India to the global level. And tennis in India was seen by the world, in the sense people knew that there were Indians fighting it out there. And because of Vijay and Anand, some international tournaments took place in India also. Earlier there was only Davis Cup. And as you know, in Pune itself, there were 2 or 3 Davis Cups, and we had the last one which I conducted in 2017. So Pune has a rich history of tennis, and the Maharashtra also. But after Vijay, there were international tournaments, and people came to watch those tournaments, and they started to aspire that children should play tennis, and that's how tennis got popular and spread. And it became profession in the 1990s when, Leander, Mahesh actually took it to the next level. Leander winning the Junior Grand Slam, Mahesh being there, and Sania coming into the picture. Ladies tennis started up.
Olympic bronze as well.
Olympic bronze. So the story is that, after actually Leander and Mahesh, people thought that, tennis was doable.
Yes.
People thought that, you could get medals in tennis. And started looking at it seriously. And with the success of Sania Mirza, I think even the women tennis took off because people realized that everybody related to Sania. And after Sania, tennis in Andhra Pradesh boomed so much.
Yeah.
Half of the girls started playing tennis. So it always happens that when you have a star,
yes.
So that is why it is very necessary for every sport to have stars. It's very important. And that is why we all work as administrators to see that, stars are born. Right. And our sports continues to thrive. So this is a small history of Indian tennis and, how it has gone up.
Right.
And India was open to the world. People started traveling for tennis. Then they realized there's good coaching outside India. A lot of people travel abroad. So exposure was more. Mm-hmm. Then even the International Tennis Federation looked at India as a very solid country to promote that sport.
Yes.
As an organization, and then they got in officiating, coaching, the allied services in that sport slowly came in because the ecosystem was building up. So this is basically a story of. So after 90s, the boom has been there, and tennis is one of the probably topmost sports. Cricket being the team sport, but individual tennis was number one until badminton produced its own stars. And then I think we are fighting for space with badminton. So this is, I think, a small journey for tennis.
Yeah. So very well put forward. I think this is the whole history that we can you put in very small few words, but very well put through. As you said, the boom happened, but it is still considered to be a little elite or costly sport. So it has not still reached. Even though it has, as you feel, yes, comparatively it has reached the masses, but it's still not something which is accessible. So how do you think that the sport can be more accessible? Because it is, yes, the courts are costly, the locations are very prime location, because tennis clubs are usually with the bigger clubs. So it is not very accessible. So how do you think it can be made more accessible?
No, I don't agree with you, because earlier this was a situation that tennis was only in the clubs. Mm-hmm. But since 1987, I've been in tennis now for the last 30 years. And I think probably the first thing that I knowingly or unknowingly did was to get tennis out of the clubs. Mm-hmm. And we started private courts in 1987. And the first private courts were in Pune, in Mukund Nagar. So this is Pune specific. Correct. And and a lot of people started coming there, and people realized that it was a good investment to put in private courts, and all of a sudden the court boom started. Mm-hmm. So now if you realize, every society also has a multi-purpose court. Yes. So in Pune itself, if you see in Maharashtra itself, we have more than 1,000, 2,000 courts everywhere. Wow. And in Maharashtra we have decentralized it so much. I can speak of Maharashtra because I'm the secretary. Is that we have taken it to even the smallest district in Maharashtra. Mm-hmm. We have tennis, in Washim, Gangakhed, in Taluka places.
Wow. Okay.
We also have tennis in Vidarbha. So it is very popular.
Right.
Kola, Nashik. We have actually tennis was very popular where there were mills. Mm-hmm. So there were courts in Ichalkaranji, Barshi, Kururwadi, smaller places. So right now we have tennis in Ratnagiri, Sindhudurg, which was not there before.
Correct. Okay.
The whole idea was that it has become quite affordable. It has become more than affordable. People can reach the courts, which is most accessible.
Accessible, yeah.
And we have a good education system in tennis coaching. We have our own exams, the ITF level exams. And now most of the coaches who are coming out are qualified. Earlier, anybody could start. So, but we now ensure that most of the coaches are qualified. They have some degree to start.
Right.
So that kind of a standardization we have been able to get into the sport. And I think that is one of the very, very big reasons for tennis being popular and successful in Maharashtra, because there is a whole ecosystem that we have been able to build around that sport.
Right.
And also in the smaller places, we've got people to teach. And see, as numbers will increase, automatically the demand for the sporting goods and products also, the cost comes down, So we've also, worked out in a cooperative way with the company. So we've been sponsored by, we have sponsored the Yonex. So what we actually do is we have talked to Yonex and we buy the balls in bulk. So actually when we buy in bulk, the cost of the balls have come down, and we subsidize it to clubs. So we do not keep profit. So we have been, working on our own ways to see that even equipment are, people get it cheap and things like that. So we started something called the racket library, which nobody else has done it. Is that we collect old rackets from people and who don't use it, and then we send it to all the smaller places.
Wow. Excellent.
So people don't have to buy rackets when they start tennis.
Right.
So,
that becomes one of the costly things to start with.
Yes, yes. So we used some different modes to see that, at least initially to start, it's not expensive.
Right.
So once you start playing, automatically you'll have to buy your own stuff. But to start, we ensure that, at least people don't have to buy the first day they go to play.
Yeah. So
we've used some kind of logic to see that we are making it affordable. But I think it's paid dividends, and we have a lot of kids from middle class, the lower middle class, playing tennis.
Excellent. I think that was my question was around how it has grown to the grassroots level, which is beyond the elite class or the people who can really afford it. I think you answered it pretty well, and that's probably a note for a lot of parents who still feel that tennis is a costly. It's a notion created about tennis. It's a costly sport and an elite sport. So I think what you said made a lot of sense about people collecting it. How does the in tennis from the MSLTA perspective? I'm sure those models might be replicable in other states under AITA. How does a competitiveness of a player happens from the junior, like from the 10 to 12 years old, all the way up to reaching the national level?
No, it's a big journey. It's not easy. See, it's very simple. That it's no. In India, the problem with sports and children is that we tend to look for results very early in life.
Yes.
We are very happy with people getting champions at under 10, under 12, under 14. But all these have no value.
Right.
Actually, you have to perform when you're 21, 22. And basically, sport is now aging in the sense, if you look at all the champions, they're all 33, 34.
Yes.
So basically, you have to last longer in tennis or any sport right now, rather than coming in early.
Correct.
And in any way of life, you have to spend at least minimum 15 to 20 years to become good.
Right.
So when you invest that much time and energy for 10, 15 years, then only you become good. And the problem is that Indians do not have that patience. Everybody wants quick results. They all want to become champions overnight.
Yes.
And this is one of the reasons why Indian sports is not doing well. Our patience levels are too low. So the whole idea is to perform when it matters. So when you become a professional, and it takes time.
Right.
So this is what we have been trying to tell people. Like, you should have the patience, and your under 10 and under 12 results actually don't matter to us. So yeah, I mean, it is good. You can know who's talented, who's not talented, because there are a lot of permutations, combinations of having that kid in that sport for longer. There are injuries, there is education. So basically, the whole idea is to keep any person in that sport for a longer time. So that is the challenge.
I think,
And that is what we are working on.
Yeah, I think it's a very well. I think it's a very good pointer for the parents to understand as well. We are living in the world of fast food where quick results are expected, but this is where the investment happens. When we see the stars, like even from India perspective, we're talking about Bhupati and Pace at the age of 44, 45 still playing, and the way we have, and at the international level as well. I think it's a phenomenal thing what you mentioned. It's the longevity with the performance is more important than the looking at the short term result. Uh, coming to the current situation where the world over the sports have stopped. So the players may not be traveling internationally anytime soon. So is there anything that we are doing at the MSLTA or AITA level to revive the national circuit or domestic circuit?
No, actually, a lot of things are going on. In this, there's a challenge of COVID is basically is to keep people in the sport, keep them, engaged, keep them alive, as you can say.
Right.
I was talking to somebody yesterday and from Germany, and one of the reasons why European countries have survived this, many of the European countries, is because the importance given to sports,
Correct.
the importance given to physical fitness, because it's a part of their life. Until we do not start physical activities in India, I don't think we are able to build good immunity. So the most challenging is to have that immunity to fight it. Because worldwide now, until you do not have a vaccine, nobody's going to. It's always going to happen to somebody somewhere. But the best way to keep avoiding is immunity. So the most important thing that we've been talking to our fraternity coaches is to keep your kids fit, keep them build immunity, keep them going, because ultimately if you are fit and immune, then you can always make a comeback. Looking at our players, we have done a lot of webinars. Most importantly is we've been able to get all our players to talk to the younger players about their lives. So Ankita, Rutuja, Arjun, they've done a lot of for Maharashtra kids. They've done a lot of talk shows. They've been on media, which never happened before. So they got their own share of fame also. Right. And a lot of kids were also inspired. AITA did a seminar with Sports Authority of India. We had all the coaches and we had the top coaches, players coming and talking. So I think everybody has done their bit. Right. But these are all temporary things, and we need to be actually keeping people engaged every day, I think.
Yes. The one thing you mentioned, I think it's a phenomenal thing that Ankita and Rutuja are doing sessions with the younger crowd. I think that's very important, because at the professional level, they at least have the ecosystem to understand what mental conditioning is. But probably the young guys may not be very young, but a mature who is trying to be professional, losing this kind of time can be a mentally taxing thing, and it's a different thing for them. I think it's a phenomenal initiative about making them speak to each other.
See, more than understanding, it's inspiration. A lot of kids can find inspiration. Maybe talking to these players. So it's basically to inspire people, to inspire kids to because it's most important right now is to inspire people to do something. Because it's going to be so difficult to get back people back on back to do what they are doing. The lethargy is so much in. So we have to keep them going.
Right. So what has been your the best moment yet? I'm sure there will be many more from the Indian tennis perspective or Maharashtra tennis perspective, where you felt, oh wow, this is why I'm here. This is what I have contributed.
See, 2 or 3 defining moments in life are that one is we were able to get the tribal children to learn tennis, to get them into a mainstream, and that was a project Eklavya that we did in Nagpur with the tribal kids. They were all tribal youth, and we, along with the government of Maharashtra Department of Tribal, got everybody, got about 80 kids, boys and girls, to become tennis coaches. It has been, I think, one of the most fabulous experiments ever.
Mm-hmm.
And out of those 80 people, 70 got jobs. And they are all coaches right now. And the people who have not seen 100 rupees, in their lives, or for them 100 rupees was a lot.
Yeah.
Today are earning about 30 to 40,000 rupees a month. They're traveling by, they could not travel by ST buses. They used to cycle for 40, 30 kilometers, are flying today. So, this is what sport can do. It can change lives. And I think this is one of the most defining moments of my life so far.
Yeah.
Second is being hosting the Davis Cup in Pune. We did it for 45 years. I think one of the best moments. Is dream come true, because 40 years it has taken Pune to have a Davis Cup again. And because there have been bigger tournament, but Davis Cup is Davis Cup. And the third is, obviously being now the manager of the Indian team, because always a dream when you represent India. So I could not represent as a player, but now being a part of the team, wearing the Indian colors with our top stars is a dream, another dream come true. So these have, so there are more dreams, but not many, but 2 or 3 more. I think they will all come on the way.
Yeah, I think that's why my question was yet. There's a long way to go, and we need the people like you who understand the administration and actually have the passion and vision to do it, because that is other side of you, which is with the Lakshya Foundation and the whole athlete management, supporting those athletes. I think that is the good mix that we can get to see in a administrator like you, that build the conscious and overall holistic development.
Yeah. See, I think this has come as a passion, and it's like a mad passion for sports, and it's very important. Always see India shining, and everybody just talks about it. But all of us in Lakshya, when we all met, we started with the same thing, that why talk? Let's make that difference. And I think it's 10 years today that we all decided to start, and 10 years have been glorious. And the best, I'll tell you, the best feeling is when your player qualifies for Olympics. So it happened with Rahi Sarno, but she was with us, and she was nobody actually, and we sponsored her, and I think she was in Germany, and we got a phone call in the night, say like 3 o'clock, that sir, I qualified for Olympics. And I think that was like that you can never forget, that call. And the journey from zero to hero is very difficult for a player. And I think we're very happy being a part of it, because everybody supports stars. When you become a star, everybody is running behind you, but nobody supports the way to becoming a star. So, I think we have done it, and Vishal Chordia, Abhijit Kunte, Ashish Desai, Swastik Shirsikar, Mr. Sandeep Pradhan now is in Sai.
Right.
So I think Manish Jain. So these are the guys who have been instrumental, in this dream. And I think everybody of us gives time, energy, and have the same passion, like we have. So it's very easy, though. We look at the administrative side of it, me and Abhijit, because we understand it.
Correct.
So people know their jobs, and I think that is the fun. And now we have a professional team in place. We have player managers. Earlier we used to manage on our own. We were all doing it, but now I think the journey has been like from amateur to professional is paid. Now we have our own. We've developed our own app for that, which is again a unique thing that no other, not even big, people like OGQ or have these apps. But we developed this app to ensure that we are using technology now. The most important thing is using technology, and it's, I think, a major shift in sports, and I think we are doing it. We have the first mover advantage. So we are monitoring our players through app, which is another great thing. So we've evolved. So journeys have started. We have evolved. We are also doing a lot of experimentation, and obviously it's very good for the sport. And I think we're very happy that we're getting results now. We have the best, one of the top juniors. Most of our juniors are then poached by other people, and I think we should be happy. So Lakshya is looking at knowledge in sports and helping youth achieve. So so we are helping youth achieve their potential. I think it's great.
Excellent. So, sir, coming back to tennis, you got the Tata Open. You got it to start, and I know there may be a lot of challenges, but there's something that you feel that okay, at the international level, other than Davis Cup, you do something like this where player from multiple countries come and participate. What are the typical challenges, and do you think that we can have more and more, which is going to give more exposure to our own athletes and also have the shoulder with the international athletes?
No, actually, Tata Open has been an amazing thing that happened to Pune and Maharashtra. When Chennai Open stopped, and there were problems in Chennai regarding raising funds, and they were looking at a different city to host, and we came up and said, okay, we are ready to host, and let's try it for 5 years.
Right.
So we just said that, and then we didn't realize the challenge that events like this pose, but we were very passionate, and all of a sudden we also had a WTA event in Mumbai, and Mumbai Open, which happened for 2 years, and both these tournaments have changed how players look at India. We had best players coming in, and the kind of feedback these players have given the world, the message that has gone is amazing, that India is one of the best countries to play tennis.
Wow.
And I think last year we didn't have the Mumbai Open, but we had so many phone calls from players that, we are ready to play. Why don't you have one? But in India, there are a lot of problems doing these big events. It is not easy to raise funds. And with government support, all this is possible only with government support.
Correct.
But our government has too many other priorities. They have to build toilets, they have to build roads, they have to give electricity, which is their basic job. And as an event, private entities still do not have that kind of that support. We are lucky enough that we got Tata, to get us backing for 5 years. In Mumbai, we had L&T to do it. But it is not happening on its own, on the merit of the event.
Right.
And I think that is so every event should run on its own merit rather than asking somebody to do the event. So I think this is one of the biggest challenges in India. That second is television rights in India are not lucrative for other sports other than cricket.
Yes.
People are not ready to pay you money to telecast. So one of the major problems in India is our events are not telecast. If you look at the other events also, it's very tough to find a telecast partner. In other countries, they get paid to show it. But now I think with the social media platform, with all these other things coming up, I think things will change for the better.
Correct.
Though we have global rights, global telecast rights, and all that. But on its own, the event to make money at least takes around 3 to 5 years, and you have to invest that much time, energy.
Right.
But sometimes that 5 years take a toll on your entire ecosystem.
Yes.
So you need to fight it out. But I think I'm obviously hopeful that things will get better. But this year is not going to be really tough with all this COVID and things like that. Yeah. People have different priorities. But the challenge is to survive and get it going. Right. So because it's helped a lot of Indian players. We've been able to give Indian players wildcards. We give them international exposure. Our officials feel that it is their own tournament because normally most of the officials are traveling outside the world, and everybody has a tournament, and India doesn't have a tournament. But now they also proudly say that we have a tournament in India. So we have a lot of international cooperation between having officials. So most of our officials, so we get officials from abroad to come to Pune and Mumbai for internet, and our officials go there.
Right.
So it always helps to build an ecosystem rather than just looking at it as an event. So there are a lot of advantages of having the event. But anyway, a lot of hard work, hard work is there.
Right.
Getting people on board and keeping them on board is the most important thing.
Right. And again, my last question, sir, before I ask for one thing, the last question is, you started one of the first tennis leagues with Hero Honda partnering way back. But as you mentioned about the event industry is big. So this question is mainly from the aspirants who wants to be in the sports industry or want to work in tennis. So if it has to grow, what kind of opportunities that they might have in the field of tennis?
Actually, professional means most advantage is that if you play tennis, you can do a lot of things.
Right.
There are field is vast. You can do coaching, officiating, which are professions by themselves. And you can do. See, now there is a management in sports, but India is not evolved in that management market yet.
Mm-hmm.
People are not looking at professionally. It's still an honorary job as a secretary. It's not a paid job.
Right.
So it's not like cricket has evolved professionally. Everything is professionally run. Mm-hmm. All the other sports, I think we will need another 2 or 3 years to go to that level.
Right.
But now government also has mandated that every association should have a paid CEO. So these kind of rules initiated by the government will ensure that professional people come into the sport. But all these events and all are quite temporary. So you have to be innovative. You have to run it you have to have your own ideas to run that. See, you can do leagues, but again, like I told you, the sponsorship market is not as big as it is in US. See, there is a lot of things to be done in the school level, college level. There is nothing happening at all. Everybody is looking at the bigger market is ATP or WTA, but there are so many things. So if people are innovative, there are a lot of things that can be done at a local level. We need to build communities. We need people who understand how to build communities. And I think this is one of the way ahead is to build communities and get it going. So there is a lot of work actually, like technology.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis technology is, I think we've already achieved a lot. There are a lot of international companies, but there are no Indian companies to do it. So even our scoring, it's all on a international platform.
Right.
And locally, nobody's investing that money, obviously, but things can be better. I mean, people have to think. They have to innovate. Right. So locally, people have to develop leagues. It's good. It's actually I cannot say much, but all I can say is if you are innovative, things can work, and that is any sport because our sport is still quite nascent. If you look at forget tennis, forget badminton, they're at least well run. But look at the other sports, smaller sports. They don't even have offices. People are running offices in the cars.
Yes. So, I've heard of that. Yeah.
So if we are looking at the Olympic medal, we cannot work like that.
Correct. So
the ecosystem has to develop, and I think the challenge for all of us in this generation is to change that ecosystem.
Correct. Yeah. And on that front, sir. As we know, education plays a big important role for any athlete as a plan B or also to understand the game better. Also, sports helps in good education. So do you think that now the universities should consider partnering with the federation association to give better sponsorships, which is the typical American or the European model, which is we don't have it. We have some scholarship from the universities themselves, but they are not tied up with the Federation Association or Federation Association sending players at the universities at the scholarship level? Because that way you also give the platform uplifting for the education and also make sure the sports also get played that level. So do you think that is happening?
So that is what I was telling you about, that when I talked to you about schools and colleges, we have to take sports there. We have to take it to the colleges. We have to make it professional. And I think Rohan Bopanna has just come up with something fantastic just a few days back. And I think that is a way forward for a lot of schools. We have to offer scholarships in sports. And, scholarships in sports means building a team, creating infrastructure. So when you have a team, then you need a physio, then you need a trainer, then you need a, logistics management.
Whole ecosystem.
So then, so this is how it has to be built. And it has not to be built from the top, because Davis Cup happens once a year, Tata Open happens once a year. But, if somebody wants to have a job, we have to start building this. Like every school should have a team. So if every school has a team, then there is a job for somebody.
Correct.
So I think this is one of the biggest challenges. And I think government of India has also realized it. SAI is changing its entire curriculum. SAI means NIS. So all the National Institute of Sports in the country are changing their curriculum to, in tandem with international sports.
Wow.
So earlier, I can talk about tennis. NIS had a certificate in tennis, but it had no value because it was not matching the international standard at all.
Right.
So a guy used to come as a coach from NIS, always used to get a job in a government, but never in a private club. But now I think there is an entire change that the government is looking at, is partnering the federations to create certification programs. So this was a need of the hour. And I think this is how sports in India will grow. And like you were saying, that it is very important that we should look at it in a very, very professional way. Because right now it's still amateur. I play sport. I play cricket. But nobody plays cricket. You are just enjoying the sport. Playing cricket is that you have to invest time. You have to do physical fitness. You have to do mental training. You have to do, practice for 10 hours. That is play.
Correct.
So right now in India, playing is that going for 10 minutes and playing football. It's not like that.
Right.
So we are not investing time professionally. So the day we start doing it, India will be a superpower in sports.
Excellent. So one last thing, a message from you who has seen a lot in Indian tennis and also multiple sports with Lakshya and your background. Something for the athletes who are now in the early stage of their life, or amateur athletes, or the parents of those. So something that you want to say from tennis perspective.
Like I said, it's important to last now. We have to, longevity of the person is more important than playing the sport. So basically, the whole infrastructure that a sportsman has to go through should be there, one. Second is that every person or a player should remember that 1,000 hours rule is about 13 or 14 years. Doing the same thing for 14 years, 15 years, continuously. Then you will start getting results. So that patience in players should be there for 15 years at least. You should keep doing the same thing, even if you're not good at it. Because once you get that practice and you get the rhythm, then the 1,000-hour rule works 101%. And the third most important thing is in everything is obviously patience. And I think we as Indians have to learn to be more patient rather than result oriented, and take our time and invest in that 10 or 15 years without expecting results.
Work towards the goal rather than the immediate result.
Yes. So because we also have to learn to be like a Federer or a Leander Pace or a Sania Mirza today.
Yes.
Who are performing at the world level at 35. So even if you look at Ankita, she's got her results only when she's 27 years old.
Correct.
But she was playing tennis since she was 10 years old.
Yes.
So it has taken her 17 years to achieve what she did. So that is the kind of, she has been patient. And so it's a story. Look at Pooja Rani for that matter.
Yes.
In boxing. She's 26, 27, and today she's winning. When people had given her up. Look at Mary Kom.
Yeah.
I mean, all these players have been there and doing every day the same thing again and again repetitively.
Correct.
And that is what is the mantra for the success.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. I don't think we could have ended this session on any better note than this about the perseverance and patience and the grit is what takes you across the line. I think very well said. And thanks a lot for your time and a wonderful session. I'm sure the viewers of this channel are really going to enjoy that. And hope to have a more and more discussions with you to learn more and more things about not only tennis
Sure.
but also sport.
Sure, anytime. Thank you, Sid. Thank you for having me.
Take care. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Bye. Take care.
Hi, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for liking. Please do subscribe on the channel to spread the word about Sportsy. Let's Talk Sports. Please subscribe.